Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech. For years, the story of big tech was pretty simple, right? It was all about connecting the world through software and screens. But that chapter's kind of closing. Today, we're digging into a massive pivot, a huge shift where the industry's biggest players are turning their ambition from the digital world to the physical one. We're talking about moving from writing code to rewriting biology and building for the stars.
It all comes down to this one question. What do you do when you get too big? When you've basically saturated the market for ads and apps and regulators are watching your every move, where do you go for growth? Well, you start tackling problems that used to be for governments and science fiction movies. You start looking for entirely new worlds to build and, to conquer.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the pressures that are forcing this massive change. Then, we're going to explore two unbelievable new frontiers, using AI to literally solve disease and applying that tech manufacturing mindset to the new space race. And finally, we'll see how all this incredible ambition brings a whole new level of scrutiny, using one of tech's most famous figures as our big case study.
So, to really get this, you have to understand that being a trillion-dollar company comes with, let's say, a pretty heavy crown. The very dominance that made these companies so successful is now exactly what makes them a target for intense investigation, and is creating some really unique, complex challenges all over the globe.
Just take a look at Google and Amazon. The Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, is definitely not letting up. Both companies are now facing brand new probes into their incredibly powerful online advertising businesses. And this is just piling on top of a whole list of other regulatory battles they're already fighting.
The thing is, the FTC isn't just making vague claims. They are getting right into the nitty-gritty of how online advertising works. They're asking, are those super complex split-second ad auctions actually transparent? Are advertisers being misled? And you gotta know, this isn't just a one-off issue. It's all part of this massive antitrust push that's probably gonna keep these giants tied up in court for years.
But the challenges aren't just coming from regulators. Let's switch gears to Apple. They're facing a totally different kind of problem. One that's all about hardware and logistics in one of their most important markets, China. The company actually had to delay the release of its new super slim iPhone Air there.
So the really interesting part is the why. See, the new iPhone is so incredibly thin that a regular old physical SIM card literally can't fit inside. It completely relies on what's called eSIM technology. The problem? Well, eSIMs just aren't that common in China yet. So this little technological mismatch created a huge headache, delaying a major product launch in a critical market.
So with all these pressures building up, where do you point all your cash and all your brainpower? Well, you pivot. You pivot to problems so fundamental that could change the entire course of humanity. We're literally going from our devices to our DNA, with the wild goal of reprogramming biology itself.
Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't a mission statement for like a new app feature. This is the actual goal of Isomorphic Labs, an AI company from Google's parent Alphabet. It's founded by Demis Hassabis, the genius behind Google DeepMind, and its ambition is, well, it's about as audacious as it gets.
And look, this ambition is built on some truly revolutionary tech. The foundation is AlphaFold, the Nobel Prize-winning AI that solved the protein folding problem, a challenge scientists have been chipping away at for decades. See, understanding how proteins fold is the key to understanding disease. AlphaFold basically cracked the code, and now Isomorphic Labs is using that key to try and unlock brand new medicines.
And this just shows you the potential impact. Think about it. Traditionally, the first phase of discovering a new drug can take anywhere from 3 to 6 years. The goal for AI platforms like this is to absolutely crush that timeline, getting it down to a matter of months. It's a total game changer for how fast we can find new cures.
To really get the scale of this, look at this number. The number of possible molecules that could become life-saving drugs is estimated to be around 10 to the power of 60. That's a functionally infinite space for a human to search. You could test 1 billion molecules a day and barely make a dent. But for generative AI, it can effectively search that entire space, finding incredible new compounds that no human has ever seen before.
Okay, so we've gone from the microscopic world of molecules, and now we're zooming all the way out to the macroscopic realm of space. The same idea of applying tech principles to solve huge problems is playing out here, as the industry tries to build the infrastructure for humanity's next frontier.
This quote from Ian Cinnamon, the CFO of spacecraft maker Apex, just sets the stage perfectly. This isn't just about business, it's a high-stakes competition between nations. He frames it as a new space race, where the biggest roadblock isn't the rockets themselves, but our ability to manufacture satellites quickly and at a massive scale.
And here's what that manufacturing push looks like in the real world. With a new pile of cash, Apex is boosting its production from about a dozen satellite platforms a month to 80. This isn't just a small step up, it's a massive shift. It's applying tech's rapid scaling mindset to an industry that historically has moved at a snail's pace.
So the key here is their strategy. They're completely flipping the old government model on its head. Instead of waiting years for a custom contract, Apex is using investor money to build standardized, off-the-shelf satellite platforms ahead of time. So when a customer comes knocking, Apex can deliver in months or even weeks instead of years. It's a total game changer.
All right, for our final section, this is where it all comes together. The whole story of tech's pivot to the physical world, with all its insane ambition and the intense scrutiny that follows, is perfectly wrapped up in one person, Elon Musk, and his vision for Tesla.
I mean, just look at the sheer scale of the goals tied to his proposed pay package. This isn't about just growing a car company anymore. He's aiming for an $8.5 trillion market cap, producing 20 million vehicles, 10 million self-driving subscriptions, and building a fleet of 1 million humanoid robots. These goals, they're about transforming transportation, AI, and labor all at the same time.
And here's how the board justifies it. They see him as a unique, generational leader, basically the only person on the planet capable of delivering on this wild vision. So in their eyes, this massive compensation package isn't just about money. It's about keeping this one-of-a-kind person focused and motivated to achieve things no other company would even dare to try.
And this brings us to our final really critical question. The tech industry is breaking out of the digital world. It's now actively building our physical future, from curing our diseases to filling our orbits. The ambition is absolutely staggering, and the potential could change the world. But as these companies take on the power to reshape life as we know it, it forces all of us to ask a really important question. Who do we want in the driver's seat? If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.